Everybody.
Hey, everyone.
Deb and Brandon.
Deb and Brandon at Yager Training, where we help business owners, coaches, entrepreneurs. We teach secrets and how to transform self to transform others.
Absolutely. And monetize your gifts. And hey, I want to give a really big shout out to everyone that helped my collaborative book with the 14 other authors. We hit #1 best-selling author on Amazon yesterday. And thank you so much for all your love and support and energy and downloads. I just wanted to say thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And we all appreciate it.
Congrats to all you ladies.
So today we're going to talk about on Six-Figure Networking Secrets, episode number 7. Amazing pitch. How do you get up in front of the room and own the stage and connect with the audience to be powerful, confident, strategic, and to really make those deeper connections to where people, after you get done from your pitch, they want to talk to you? How do we do that?
Because you delivered your pitch with confidence and energy
and charisma and lots more energy.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. So, is anybody here that's listening right now? Hey, Monica, it's good to see you. Anybody here having any sort of fear? Because I know that in the past, in the beginning of this whole journey of networking, and I was one of those 50%, I guess it's like a 50% statistic, that people would rather die than to get up in front of the room and speak.
To public
speak.
Speak.
That makes me sad, but it also makes me super excited because
nobody wants to do it.
Yes. Well,
which is awesome.
And if this is something that you struggle with, it doesn't have to be that way.
Right.
You can learn how to be confident in front of the room. In fact, I taught myself how to with NLP. So one of the things that helps is being prepared. Being prepared means practicing. So when we first started networking and when we came to Austin, we used to practice in front of the mirror. We also would time ourselves before we went to a networking event, because usually you have a time frame. Like first you want to go scope it out and figure out how much time you have to speak. And then once you know the routine and the drill, you either have a minute, you have 45 seconds, maybe you have 30 seconds. Sometimes you only have 20 seconds. So you really want to get good at landing all of your information in a short amount of time.
A clear, simple approach to what you do, and less is more. Let's be honest. There's a lot of people that get up and they say all this, and I'm still like, I don't even know what they do. So it's really important to have a very clear marketing message. What are you trying to put out there to the world?
And you want to know who you're speaking to. I mean, for us, sometimes it would change depending upon the networking that we're going to. Maybe it was a room of business owners. Maybe sometimes we'd be in a networking group that was a group of more coaches or light workers. So every time that I pitched, because I know that my training will provide value for all types of people, then I would change the language to connect with them, because it would be more of their key words. So that's another thing to consider.
Know your audience.
Really know your audience. Who are you really going to serve, and what do they need to hear? What do they like to say? What do they say to their friends that they need? Like, you want to get back into the psychology of it.
And before you know your audience, you need to know who your ideal client is before, in order to pitch to that audience. So make sure you discover that. And that's, I think, in an earlier episode. Know who you're talking to.
Yeah, know who you're talking to.
Know your avatar, your market, who you want to focus on.
So with the pitch, this is something we also teach in the training in our 3-day event that's coming up on Friday. And by the way, we have 2 spots left if anybody is interested. We're running a special right now for markdown from $9.95 to $195. So that's a really good deal. So if you want to learn how to craft your speech and craft your pitch, also be able to manage your anxiety and to get into a confident state.
Or
yeah,
if you run from sales and you're not sure why you're running from sales, maybe your business is suffering, right? Maybe your monthly income could drastically increase if you had a different mindset and a shift in that area of your business. We know for one thing is that no matter how great you are at your craft, whether you're a coach, light worker, whether you have a product or a service, if you don't sell, you do not survive. And if you cannot survive, there's no way in thriving. So you won't thrive. So you've got to learn how to sell. It's a massive mindset shift there. And we've got some simple steps. And there's a 5-step model into how to increase your sales. Most people don't know how to build rapport, we'll teach you how.
Yes. And also our episodes on selling to serve, you could check those out too. And then we go more detail in the training. So for now, when you're crafting your pitch, the way that we do our formula is usually we either introduce ourselves in the beginning, or maybe we'll do a hook. A hook could be a statistic. It could be something super interesting and random. Whatever is going to hook your audience in and get them engaged.
Some facts.
Yeah. Well, not necessarily a fact. It could be something just off the wall, or something shocking.
Sure.
Something shocking, really, because people are like, a lot of times when they're listening to these pitches, probably about 70% of the room is already like thinking about what they're going to have to say.
So they're already in their
head, and they're like, their heart is pounding, and they're like, oh shit, I'm next. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. If this resonates with
you, got to shock them. Shock them to get them out of their head.
Yeah.
And actually present in the room, listening to what you have to say.
Yeah. And the people that have already gone, maybe they'll be more present, or maybe sometimes they'll be on their phone. You know, a lot of times I see this where people are looking at their phone instead of paying attention to who's on stage. I always like to be very present whenever I'm listening to other people talk. For one, the reason is because then you can figure out what everybody does in the room. So you'd be strategic of who you connect with afterwards. And for a perceptions projection point of view, if you are attentive and you're actually listening to people, then people are more likely to listen to you. So that's another thing to consider.
Interesting.
So first you have some sort of hook, right? Whether it be something shocking, maybe a statistic, maybe it's something, or sometimes people will hook you in with like a story. And then you can say who you are and what you do. So you can say, hi, I'm Deb Yager, and this is Brandon Yager, and we help people monetize their gifts through the successful art of sales, or something like that, like a big picture overview of what your company does. And then you can go into some pain points, like, you know how, and this is very similar to what we said that you would say on the floor one-on-one. It's exactly the same, by the way. It's the same talk track. So you could go and you could ask questions. Who here is in sales? Who here rejects sales? Right? Or who here knows that they have currently some money blocks that are getting in the way of them being truly successful?
Who's got a fear of success?
So you could ask questions. We call them why questions. You can ask questions that are going to elicit the problem that your client has to get them engaged. You want to get them engaged and listening, because if you start talking about their problem, they may think to themselves, oh my God, I need to listen because this is something I need help with.
Nailed it.
So what's the next thing?
What is the next thing?
So after you talk about the problem, you get them like engaged and listening. You could either go into a metaphor or a story about a client that had the same problem, and then how your product or service actually served them.
Testimonial.
Yes.
Success story.
Because a lot of times people love listening to stories. If you notice too, the most successful speakers,
every great speaker starts off with a story.
Open with story. Now, if you're crunched on time, if it's a 30-second pitch, you may not have time to go through a metaphor or story. So you would take them through the problem, first the hook, then what you do, big picture, and then you could say, so the main problem, or you could say something like, the problem is that, do it with real estate. The problem is that for our business, like we did a hook, we said, I'm Brandon Yager, or I'm Deb Yager, and this is Brandon Yager, and we help coaches monetize their gifts by teaching them the spiritual art of sales. So you know how a lot of times when you're on a discovery call with a client and you know that you can help them, but then there's something that's blocking you with asking them for the order. Or sometimes you sabotage yourself when you're asking for money. Or sometimes you feel like whenever you get into the sales process, you freeze up and you don't know exactly what to say. So what we do is we take you and teach you a very simple, elegant sales process to where you don't sound salesy. In fact, you're actually serving them. And we help you remove all the money blocks. So then when you go in for the close, you feel congruent about it, and the client is super excited to work with you. And so I'm Deb Yager, and this is Brandon Yager. Thank you. So something like that.
You don't even need to introduce yourself up front. You actually kind of do it after all that.
You can do it in the beginning or the end. Sometimes you want to have like the last part to where they remember who you are. I like to do it twice because it's like a double anchor.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's great.
Are you going to do one?
You want me to do a pitch?
Yeah.
Training?
Mine was kind of weak.
Training?
I want you to do one. Yeah.
Okay. So we help business owners and coaches turn their businesses into profit machines. We help them break through all of their sales blocks. Who here is afraid of closing or being closed? Those are money blocks. So that's what we do. We help you eliminate all that so you can have more money, profit. That's the biggest thing. Profit, actually have a profit at the end of the year as an entrepreneur. You'd be surprised how many people don't profit from their businesses because they're afraid of paying more taxes. So that's what we do. I'm Brandon Yager and Deb Yager, and we help you transform your business.
Something like that. And again, it's the energy when you're doing it that people will remember. And if you have a really powerful hook, people will listen to the whole entire time. And there's so many different ways. We give quite a few different examples of how to customize your pitch in the training. These are some of them. The important key is for you to know that when you get up there, if you're having a good time, people will notice. No matter what you say, it's how you say it and the energy that you give off.
Yep. How are you doing with the energy? Energy is huge.
It's so huge.
You got to put yourself out there. And if you're going to be networking or doing any kind of face-to-face sales, it's all about bringing energy to the table, because there's a good chance the person you're sitting across from has very little energy.
Yeah.
That's what most people that we've come across, they're like, wow, you guys have such great energy. It's because you've got to bring more energy to the table than you currently do if you want to be more successful.
Yeah.
Charisma.
And so if you're one of those people that have a fear of public speaking, then come to our training. Otherwise, listen to episode, I believe it's number 3 or 2, where we teach you how to set up an anchor. So this is one of the things we actually teach you in the training, real time, where you have your custom pitch and we are throwing you up on stage and you're getting feedback from the audience. And one of the things that we teach you how to do is anchor yourself before, to where then when you get up in front of the room, you're actually collapsing that's what NLP terminology, you're actually collapsing that old fear and the behavior into the empowerment, to where you're not triggered anymore, which is so, so cool. This is how I overcame the fear of public speaking. This is how I actually got up on these Facebook Lives, because I had a trigger with the Facebook Lives. And so what I would do is anchor myself and fire my resource anchor before I would get up on the live. And sometimes I make mistakes and sometimes I stumble over my words. And
use it.
I don't give a shit, because I'm getting better and every single day in every single way.
Present with confidence.
Yes. And by the way,
Power.
if you mess up, there's
Energy.
so many times where we've gotten up in the front of the room and I practiced my pitch and I was like, yes, we're going to nail it. And then he would forget his part, or
It's always me.
Or I forgive it, or the timing was off and we talk over each other like, fuck. And then we laugh about it and we're like, yep. So that's what we do. We teach people how to speak in front of people and people laugh. Get over yourself. The key is to get silly.
Breaking through fear.
Put yourself out there.
Confidence.
And willing to have a little embarrassment, because I know internally every time I flub up on the Facebook Lives, which I do all the time, every time, and the phone agrees.
Yeah, it does.
Every time that we get up in front of people, or when we do a training and I stumble over my words or the words don't come out right, if you joke about it and you play with it and you know that you're growing every time you make a mistake, then it's a win. It's a win.
There's a lot of trainings out there that involve or dance around NLP, or they kind of, what I've heard people say recently. I had a person tell me they do NLP on me. So here's the thing. How would you like to come to a training and actually learn some real foundational techniques to how to make your business more powerful, how to structure sales, how to communicate more clearly? That's truly what our 3-day business training is all about. So that's something that, for those of you that have no clue what NLP is, neurolinguistic programming, that's cool. It's fine. Come check it out. It's an attitude. It's a methodology. It'll leave you with a lot of techniques to really transform the way you look at business, money, and manifestation.
Absolutely.
And a very holistic approach, where we like to say we're going to bridge business and spirituality.
Yeah. And the sales process is spiritual in itself. Being able to really dive in deep with your clients in those discovery calls. That's why I'm so passionate about it in the context of coaching, because I really, truly believe that the coaching begins when you are on the sales call, because reframing, you are overcoming some of their biggest objections and problems. And the problem will rear its ugly head when it comes around money.
Yep.
And if this is something that you struggle with, this is your greatest gift to share with the world. Once you overcome it yourself, you can even dive in deeper with your clients and assist them in the same way, because you have the strategy, because you were able to get over it yourself.
Society has programmed, as far as I'm concerned, and I think I can speak with you on this. Society has us programmed that being a salesperson or selling is bad. And that is fucking bullshit. That is bullshit, by the way.
I love it when you cuss.
If you want mediocrity, that's the quickest way to mediocrity, is to believe what society thinks about sales. Sales is the only way to go out and transform and serve others.
Yeah.
You cannot do it any other way. If you're serving, you're just serving people and you expect nothing in return, that is a very miserable existence. I promise you. I have tried that in a number of different businesses and it doesn't work, because you're not getting your self-worth. You're actually not meeting your purpose. So for anybody listening to that and they don't resonate with that, well, I'm sorry.
Another thing to consider about your pitch when you're on stage, and I absolutely agree with you, because you're serving your clients when you sell. And sometimes you need to go there and lean in on them and lean in on their objections and call them out a little bit, because it's coming from a place of love.
Coaching is about accountability, by the way.
Yeah, we're all saying this. And you know what? We've made the mistake. You know, we made a mistake the other day without calling somebody out, and it manifested in something that wasn't the greatest. And we're not serving people when we hold ourselves back from saying what we really know we need to say in the moment. And sometimes in the sales environment, that is necessary. And so that's why I think it's really spiritual, because you yourself, if you have a habit of people pleasing or not speaking your mind or not standing up for yourself and not asking for what you want, then this is a very amazing environment for you to transform and become empowered, as well as you're also serving your clients, as long as you're selling something with integrity.
Absolutely. Doing it with ecology, right?
Yeah.
Which is the study of consequences.
Exactly.
Are you doing what's best for your client? Or are you doing what's best for your business?
So another thing to consider too about the pitch is if this is like what we're saying, the hook and the why questions are taking them down the how track of problem trance and then taking them to solution trance is what we say. If this is overwhelming for you, then remember the factor of shock and awe. There's some times where we got up and did some pitches where we just double inducted on people. Shock and awe. Because people are like, what the heck? Doing something great. Because then people will come to you afterwards and say, I need to talk to that person. Like, what was that all about? Like, what were you guys doing up there? And you can do this individually as well. And the right language can induce trance and cause your client or prospect to actually buy, because you've triggered and elicited a response inside of them that's actually going to help them solve what they want, what they're looking for. So that's huge. Yeah. Yeah. So did we cover power, stance, speech, volume, energy? Oh, no. Okay. So stance, if you want to stand. Power stance. Power stance. Right? Confidence, not swaying like a lot of people do. If you are moving around, then do it with strategy. They get in front of groups of people and then they look really nervous and they have all this unconscious like body language and movement. Let's move our hands. And when it's really unconscious, like they're chattering or jittering or they're shaking something or they got to hold their phone or they're swaying or rocking, that is all unconscious movements and it's a distracting as hell. So if you want people to actually listen to you, you got to be confident, you got to be certain in your pitch and your delivery, but you also can't be moving around like you're extremely nervous, because it's going to come up, it's going to kind of come across that way. Yeah. So there's ways to eliminate that, and we do that in the training, the 3-day training. We also teach you how to use your hands with intention, because a lot of times people's hands are all over the place and they're like doing this. What do I do with my hands? And there's certain things that you can do as a woman that actually takes away your power. And there's certain things as a man that actually makes you have too much power that turns people off. So there's certain strategies that you can learn to do with your body language that will set you apart from everybody else on stage. And you can also embed commands. You can also do anchoring, stage anchoring, which we teach in the training. So there's a lot more science behind what you're doing on stage than if you know what you're doing. What Tony Robbins is doing, everything is strategic. It's all strategic. Everything has a purpose. There's always a purpose behind these different techniques and intentions. And the volume, you want to make sure that you're projecting your voice, because I hear people they get up there. Hi, I'm Brandon. Deb, Yager. Like, hey, thank you. Yeah.
And you're
I'm
like, what did they say?
I can't hear you.
I couldn't hear them.
Yeah, you want to come up with confidence.
Volition.
And you want to imagine your voice coming out of your mouth and going all the way to the ears in the back of the room.
Yes.
And going inside.
Speak with volition.
Yeah. And energy. We talked about energy.
Lots of energy. High energy.
And when we say energy, not from a place of scatteredness, but an energy of just confidence.
And not goofiness, but like a real charismatic energy.
Yeah.
So we are excited about this 3-day training coming up Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 2 spots left.
And I know some of you that are watching right now are actually coming to the training. So we're excited to teach you all the things we're talking about.
2 seats left.
Yes. So if you know somebody,
it's really fun.
We have 2 seats left, and we still are having the special of $195. After this training, we're raising it back to the $995. So get in now, folks.
And by the way, the training,
love you.
It easily gives you well over $1,500 of value, because if with the tools that we teach, if you cannot go out there and turn around and make a minimum of $2,500 to $5,000, and let's just say the first 60 days, that's if you take massive action, then I don't know what can help someone, because if they're truly trying with these tools and they change the way they think they know how to sell, or they change the way they think they know how to communicate and add in some new techniques, this will sharpen your axe. You'll cut far more wood faster. I can promise you that.
That's right.
It's a profound training. So, and we've had great success with clients coming through it and saying, oh my gosh, I made an extra $10,000 the month right after the training. That's not a coincidence, by the way.
Yeah.
That's called taking action and actually working smart, not hard for once.
Just by removing a simple limiting belief around money and then getting a simple process of sales, it's incredible.
Let go of your money blocks. Stop talking about all the debt or paying debt off and start focusing on revenue.
And here's the thing. We all have money blocks each up level. Like we were talking about this last time. We had some money blocks that we just let go of with some timeline therapy between the two of us that were getting in the way. It was another glass ceiling to the next layer of our success that were holding us back. So we're constantly doing the work and releasing these money blocks. And so our hope is that the people that come to the training, they let go of their next glass ceiling. So come join us. Personal growth and development is not a marathon or a sprint. It is a journey, one that should always be, one should stay on the path, because that's one thing. As soon as you up level and evolve, you're going to have to up level and evolve yet again if you want to create more success and abundance in your life and prosperity. So that's it for today. And we will not see you on Friday because we will be training. We will see you. Actually, we'll do it live when we're in the training. Yes, well, we'll see you. Yeah, but not for this episode. Yeah. So if you love this, then share it with someone you know that you love and care about, that this could be useful for them. Also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We want to build that following up. And this is where you can find all of our videos in one place and a sequential order. Sequential. With confidence and volition. Yeah. Easy for her to say. Yeah, I know. Anyways, love you all. We will see you soon. Cool. Thank you. Have a great Wednesday, yeah? Yeah. All right, cool. Bye-bye now.